Well, good morning. Good morning. This is Coffee with Carol, and it is a great Monday morning. I hope that you have a wonderful day and a great start to your week. I want to talk today about stick-to-itiveness. Stick-to-itiveness is one of those words that comes out after consistency, creating a habit, and perseverance sort of loses its glue, so to speak, because stick-to-itiveness really is talking about that glue that really keeps you stubbornly focused on making something happen. And I really believe that God calls us to stick-to-itiveness. In Hebrews 10:13, he says, you need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. You need to persevere. You need to. God calls us to do this. I think that the race that Paul is talking about in Philippians 3:14 is really a marathon of stick-to-itiveness. We need to expect that there's going to be some discouragement, some distractions, some potholes, if you will, that we're going to fall, that we're going to trip, that things are going to come about, but we have to be willing to get back up and keep on walking again. We need to focus on the big picture, you know? We need to not really get so caught up in those day-to-day details. We don't want to control the details, but we want to know the details. It's sort of like getting some information every day, but it's somebody else's department. You don't really have any responsibility for it. So you keep track of things, absolutely, but you are not trying to control them. You are focused on that big picture, on the big end result. Think about the benefits of living a life by God's design. Think about the benefits of sticking to what you say you're going to do when it comes to God. Getting up every day and really putting him first, making him the first part of your day, and putting on your armor and being courageous and strong and really holding on to his word. Consider the benefits of that. What does it look like to live a life in this way? It's so peaceful. Things all flow. There's no stress. There's no worry. Ask for tenacity and strength, because giving up is not an option. When God has called you to a greater purpose, when God has called you to do something, to be someone, to serve others, giving up is not an option. But we do have to rely on him to help us get through it, because I don't think that we can do it on our own. In fact, I know we can't. We can't become impatient with God's timing, because impatience leads to us being, what I like to say, resourceful. And that means we're getting ahead of God. We typically make bad decisions then. And ultimately, it's really disobedience. And your success or your lack of it is found in your obedience to the one who created you. So when you're looking at this, I want you to think about really connecting all of these pieces, connecting the fact that we are called to do this, that there's going to be distractions, there's going to be discouragement, there's going to be some things that are going to kind of delay our progress, but that we need to keep focused on the big picture. We need to really look at the benefits of a life of stick-to-itiveness. We need to ask for that tenacity and that strength, because giving up is not an option. And we can't become impatient in the process, because that just leads to disobedience. James 5:11 says, take the old prophets as your mentors. They put up with anything, went through everything, and never once quit, all the time honoring God. What a gift life is to those who stay the course. You've heard, of course, of Job's staying power, and you know how God brought it all together for him in the end? That's because God cares. He cares right down to the last detail. That's a really good one. That's the message. So James 5:11. When you are going through things and you need that stick-to-itiveness, sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes we want to go in the opposite direction. I think about when I've gone to get a massage and I have a tight muscle, and the masseuse says, okay, hang in there. It's gonna hurt a little bit. And they press in on the tight spot, and it hurts really bad until they release. And then the muscle releases a little bit too. So when you are moving through things and you encounter an obstacle, you encounter a challenge, press in to God's word, press in to his promises, and keep going. Pearls are formed from adversity. Great things are always formed from adversity. There's a story of a mom who really wanted to encourage her young son to play the piano. And so she bought these tickets to a renowned pianist's concert. And they went to the concert. And as they were approaching their seats, the mother recognized someone nearby and started to chat with this woman. Well, of course, while the adults are talking, the little ones kind of get distracted. As was with this little boy, he decided to take advantage of this opportunity to explore a little bit. And he walked through a door that said no admittance. The lights started to dim, and the mother looked down to see where was her son. She couldn't find him. And all of a sudden, the curtain went up, and there he was, seated at the piano on stage, playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Well, of course, the mother was mortified, and she didn't know what she was going to do and how she was going to get her kid off the stage. So she's frantically looking around, and then all of a sudden, the pianist walks out on stage, and he leans down and he whispers in the little boy's ear. And before you know it, he's seated next to the little boy who continues to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and he adds to it. He adds bass, and then he starts to really go all at it with the higher notes. And before you knew it, the crowd was clapping and giving a standing ovation to this very I don't know what you would call it, this performance, so to speak. Well, as the boy came off the stage and approached his mother, she grabbed him and she said, "What did he whisper to you?" And he said, "Mom, he just whispered to me, keep playing, do not quit." Well, I think our master on a continual basis is whispering to us, keep playing, don't quit. We need to have the stick-to-itiveness to stay at it, knowing that the end result is always going to be good. Always going to be good, because God will do more than what we could ever think or imagine. It will be better than what we could ever think or imagine. So keep playing. Don't quit. Keep your eye on the big picture. Remember the benefits of living a life by God's design. God does the how, and you do the do. I wish you an amazing day and an amazing start to your week. See you tomorrow.